don't know, years ago when I was doing deep research into the JFK assassination, because the Discordians come up in that research, and I'll be explaining that right now. So I'm just doing this off the top of my head, so hopefully I can get through all this. It's quite complicated, and it's quite abridged as well. I'm trying to cover a lot of things here. But essentially, the idea is that there was a link between Discordianism, and the Scientologists, and the offshoot called the Process Church, which was satanic. So this all links in with serial killers that we were discussing in the interview. So in short, there's a person named Kerry Thornley, and he was Oswald's friend in the Marines in the 1960s, and he was fascinated with Oswald and writing a book about him before Oswald was anybody. So that's pretty interesting. He is an ex-Mormon and John Birch Society member. So that's important with the John Birch Society relations to the JFK assassination. There are many of the suspected assassins or people linked to it were John Birch Society members, and the John Birch Society comes out of the Mormon Church. Also very important to know. And the John Birch Society was the ones who made the JFK wanted for treason ad when JFK was coming to town. And so they were looked into because of that ad. And there are some very interesting people in the alternative media who have direct links to the John Birch Society at that time. One of them is the Texas Whale, Aleister Crowley Jones. His mother worked in the John Birch Society offices at the time that poster was being printed up and pasted up all over Dallas, which was considered a threat to the president, and then he got killed. So, of course, they were interviewed and implicated. But they also had direct links to COINTELPRO. They were written up in the COINTELPRO documentation that they were working with the FBI as part of the COINTELPRO. And speaking of which, Guy Bannister, who was sharing an office with Oswald, he was the ex-head of the FBI in Chicago, and he was a COINTELPRO operative. And that's what him and Oswald were doing at the university, asking people questions about communism, because they were on a mission to gather information about communists on campus. This is what people don't understand, is Oswald was far right-wing. That's why he was in the Marines. There are no left-wing communists in the Marines. It's absolutely ridiculous to consider such a thing. And of course, they were all working with David Ferrie as well. And David Ferrie and Guy Bannister were working to provide arms for the CIA operations. So you have CIA running around all over this thing. Now, how this links to back to Kerry Thornley is that he's in the Marines with Oswald, and he comes out and he moves to New Orleans. And Kerry Thornley, during the investigations into the JFK assassination, he's called in by Jim Garrison and interviewed at least twice. And in the second interview, he admitted to perjuring himself in the first interview. And he admitted that he was the one who came and picked up the Fair Play for Cuba Committee printouts that Oswald ordered. And they were ordered, these leaflets were ordered on a CIA account and printed out on that account, or paid for by that account, for Oswald to hand out on the street. And it was Kerry Thornley who picked them up from the printer. So you have quite this connection between COINTELPRO, CIA, and Kerry Thornley. Now, Kerry Thornley claims he doesn't really know much about what was going on with the JFK assassination. Some people seem to indicate that he might be a double, one of the doubles of Oswald. He might have been being set up and used. He has discussed this. I've listened to interviews. He's now passed away. but he's done a bunch of interviews about it, and he's very wishy-washy about these things. And he was almost charged by Jim Garrison for being a co-conspirator in the assassination. So that's kind of how important he is. But the other side of him was he created Discordianism, this strange religion which was considered a joke. He created it with another person. So he's a co-founder of Discordianism along with Greg Hill. But the most influential writer of their precepts was somebody named Robert Anton Wilson. And if you look into him, you'll find he's admires Aleister Crowley. He's an occultist, a mystic, into Buddhism, yoga. He's into all those New Age stuff, which is all linked to the occult and Satanism. He's, as far as I'm concerned, he's a full-on Satanist. And what's interesting about him is he wrote the introduction to the book Sex and Rockets about Jack Parsons. Now, I bought that book and I was reading that book and I was thinking, this is quite interesting. There's some great information in here, but I had this feeling it was a bit of a whitewash. And I believe it was, because this guy's a full-on occultist linked to all these people that are high-level occultists. And he's writing the foreword exposing Jack Parsons. And for those who don't know, Jack Parsons was a famous rocket scientist who created solid rocket fuel, was part of the reasons we were able to supposedly go to the moon, which I don't believe we did. As an aside, for people who wonder what I think about that, I just don't think there was the technology whatsoever to do that. It's a whole other ball game, but solid rocket fuel was extremely important for all kinds of rocket weaponry and stuff. And the other thing about Jack Parsons is he was a high-level occultist. He was the American representative for Aleister Crowley's OTO. And so he was the top occultist in America, and in direct communication with the king, Aleister Crowley. And he was out doing all kinds of ceremonies and things, trying to do black magic in the desert while he's making rockets and stuff as well. And his sidekick, his scribe at the time, was L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. So working with him in with his black magic, Satanism, and that's a whole other deep subject you could get into. But you have L. Ron Hubbard doing that. And then later he creates Scientology, and he's a Navy, ex-Navy person. And I just discovered something yesterday when I was refreshing my research on this. Something I'd always suspected is that L. Ron Hubbard was an intelligence agent from the Navy, which is the Office of Naval Intelligence, the ONI, which was deeply, deeply involved in the JFK assassination, as an aside. So you have all these links, and I always thought that Scientology was a naval intelligence operation from start to finish. But that's just an opinion. I have no real proof of it. But how this all connects to the Process Church is that
What's up, everybody? Back with another video. If anybody's still here, at the beginning, like I would say 3 minutes, 4 minutes in, it was like 12, 13, went up to 16, 17, and it just dropped down to 4, and now it's 5 people watching. You know why? You know why? And the circles around here, shout out to my brother Wise for sparking all of, these thoughts. The circles around here are going to get very small, and guess what? I don't care. I'm good with it. I mean, I'm beyond good with it. I can care less. As long as I reach one human being, I don't care. So the circles around are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And I would advise You know, people that try to talk trash and garbage, don't send people over. Don't mention the names around here. Don't do it. Because people come over here and look, they might be, you know, we talking MK Ultra here, you know. They might break that MK Ultra. So hey, it is what it is. Anybody can do this research. I'll send you that. I'll send you that video. Man, my mind, boy, man, my mind couldn't shut off. I just kept getting information all night, all night. I'm like, man, I gotta go live. You notice I text you this morning early. I couldn't sleep, man. It all see. This is the power of being connected to the all, not drug induced, not under any kind of fucking, anything. Even though, okay, there is things in our body, and this is funny. This is something that a scientist discovered, but a guy named Ron L. Hubbard said he discovered it, and it goes into the whole LSD, the whole psychedelic thing, that Wiseman talked about. So this video actually is intertwined with Wake Up Now, the Dark Cities channel. So if you want to know more of where this is stemming from and other, things, it's stemming off from the videos he's been putting out. All right. And these videos are, they ain't directed towards anybody. It is just what is that's out there. If you get angry, then hey, you ain't doing the research. Because all this is out there. You're not doing the research because all this shit connects to everything in the truth communities, everything you see around the internet, everything in the awakening. But again, just like I found this other brother here, he's got 500 subscribers. That's it. And his videos go back to, let me see, oldest video, 4 years ago. So he ain't never, like us, been suppressed. Why? We're not fitting in the algorithm. You see? Notice how all the other truther channels, right? And this is not like nothing negative, how they fit in the algorithm. Unbeknownst to them, they are participating in a big MK Ultra mind control, not experiment, an operation. That's what it is. And I am totally 100%, I'm 99.9999% over 100. That's exactly what it is. From its inception. It never been, it never will be a true community. Because it's controlled, it's doing what it's exactly supposed to be doing. The news matches it. It is one big ass fucking experiment. I mean, operation. And you're falling for it. I fell for it. I can come down here and admit it. I fell for it. I was involved in it. I was mind controlled also. But it was always something back there that always said, something ain't right. Something don't add up. And look, Wise, if you want to come on, I'll put the link in. You can come on and hey, we can talk about this because this is bouncing right off of, and it's a whole lot of more people that are, that all linked to the same stuff. And this goes back to months ago when I said, the truth community is dead. And it's so beautiful how, shout out to Wise, how over the years we've always bounced off each other without even talking to each other. Because I was with the truth community is dead. I couldn't put in the words. I was telling you what I seen, felt, understood from energy, from being around people, from just, over the years. And, I left it at that. I just told y'all it's dead. It never, it never was. It's dead. You know, and that little seed or whatever sparked, and boom. Now you got, you know, I mean, he's giving y'all the blueprint of how it actually is, right? And so I got like, yeah, shit. Let me come. My gears start turning. So I got to come back and look at some stuff myself. And I'm taking names that he dropping. And then I'm like, yo, all these other names. I'm just taking names in the truth community. Going back. This shit goes back to William Cooper. Goes back to Jordan Maxwell. I'm telling you guys, this shit runs deep. It definitely does. It runs really deep, man. It's real deep. You know, it's crazy. When you start, putting these names in and like, wow, and why they're put there, you know, um, they're all connected, man. It's all connected. It's wild on how it's all connected, but it's all connected. And it all traces all of them, intertwined with each other. They've all met down the road. They've all crossed paths. They've all been in the same, like I said, the military installations. They all been to the same schools. They study the same type of shit. They were into the whole psychedelic because Kerry Thornton, right? He was involved with the same thing. He was involved with the same thing, right? Even created a thing that a lot of this shit is new to all you guys. It's new to me. So I know it's new to you guys. Kerry Thornley, you know, they were into all this stuff. I mean, this ain't me putting the information out here, just coming out of my butt. This is what's out here, you know? And unfortunately, this is how you practice occultism. This is sorcery and magic 101. You may be partaking in sorcery and magic and not even know it. What is the sorcery and magic is keeping you from your true self and also furthering their agenda. Exactly, man. Can't explain, man. You can't explain this stuff. I can't explain it. It's hard to explain, man. You know? And I'll be a CIA op. Okay, they'll let people call me that. I don't care. Because all the stuff that I'm telling you is out here if you're just willing to do the research. You know? All these people are linked to, truthing. Back then, like they even used the word truther. They used the word truther back in their times. And guess what other word they use? Truth seeker. That word comes from um um who used that? Manly P. Hall used that word, as well as Ron L. Hubbard. It's quite fucking wild, Joe. And that's what I'm saying. Unbeknownst to people, you know, they may be partaking in something they don't even know. You might not even know you're invoking this same ass shit out that they put out here and spreading across the platforms, infecting people. It just is what it is, man. That's why you see the hostility in the whole truth community over the years. Never once has it been able to come together. And y'all know that's what I've been about from the start and still ain't found it. Right? It's always something. That's because it's energy and sorcery and magic and frequency and vibration. Same shit we talk about they're using to keep us in that state. Point blank period, man. It's not even debatable. You know, all these people. And this is where I come in, and I've always been a baseline person. Let's get straight to the point. Let's get to the facts. If you ain't got no facts, everything you talking about is mumbo jumbo. It's bullshit. It sounds good. You can convince people. right? You can convince people. You know, you can convince people. That's what you can do. But if it's not backed up by shit, it's just hearsay. You know. There it is. Right. That's what I'm saying, man. If you want to join in, look, I'll drop the link. Let me see. I'll just put it in here. If anybody, anybody want to join in? This is the topic today. We're not getting off topic. This is the topic. That's what we're talking about. I don't want to have this going too long because I know it's Friday, but maybe at least an hour more longer. But let me invite a guest. And this is shit we got to talk about. We're not gonna talk about all other shit. We're not gonna get into no drama, shit like that. It's just look, this is what it is. It's gonna be a whole lot to come. It's gonna be a whole lot. Let me post this comment. It's gonna be a whole lot to come because this shit is wild, man. It runs deep and it is wild. It truly is wild. And then that's another guy here. Let me put this up here. I mean, where do you go down these rabbit holes, man? It's people you never even heard before. These are truthers. These are truthers. These are the real truthers. These are the ones that put out what you are into. This is why I've never rocked out when I became vegan. I never rocked out with vegans. I just never did. That's cool, shit like that. But I'm not in that culture. You know, the love and light people, yeah, they cool. But I'm like, yo, I'm not with that shit y'all talking. That shit just don't sit right with my soul. I let my spirit move me. It don't sit right. You know, it don't sit right with me. I'm like, yeah, yeah, cool, okay, yeah. But I just always knew it was some type of energy there that just ain't fucking right. I just know it just something ain't right. You know. Now in another community, I don't want, hey, look, it's good people, but I already know just something just not right about. It's good people over there, and you know what I'm talking about, the G community, the number community. There's a lot of good people over there. They may be involved in something that they don't even know. You can try to explain it away all you want. You can't explain it. Simple and plain and simple. You can't explain that shit. You know? Explain that. Let me see if let me get this off the screen. Oh shit, hold on. Wait. Let me get this off the screen real quick. Okay, yeah.
Hey man,
See, I see you now. What's up?
hey, I got a couple of minutes, man. I can't talk too long. I got some things I got to do this morning.
It's all good because I
But
can't be long either. But
yeah,
this is
I'll
just
say
this is
this,
just the this is just the start of
man.
me talking about this.
Whew.
But I want to thank you for you know dropping that dropping that the seed. And
Yeah, I mean
maybe we both sparked each other. But I want to thank because my mind hasn't shut off, and that
it,
search research button was going
you
crazy.
that's what it's all about, man. When we're talking about the stuff with gematria, it wasn't trying to hurt nobody. This is about if you on here doing research, if you on here and you care about the what's happening in the world, you're not a truther. You're an examiner, you're an investigator, you're inquisitive. You a archaeologist digging the earth looking for the
Right.
cause of whatever problem, and that's what we need to start identifying. I said when they started giving us these terms, truther and conscious and this and that, and I'm guilty of it too. And that's why it's so shocking to me because some of these things I might have been aiding.
It's definitely a shocker, and I come out straight admit it. Yeah, oh, they got me. But
Yeah.
guess what? We had a reawaken again. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, and like I said, the synchronicity is it's not so much a guilt like, oh, we are we did something wrong. What I realized was in this world, the Aleister Crowleys, the H.P. Blavatskys, all these same people, the Sidney Gottliebs, the Timothy Learys, the Carlos Castanedas, these people have been saying the same thing all along. They've been operating on the same wavelength as we have. Just like I
Exactly.
said in that example.
But
Got
actually, these they went further because
yeah,
they went and did research. They did studies. They were dabbling in chemistry, into the
going to
drug. I mean,
Mexico.
they
They were back and forth in Mexico grabbing bags of mushrooms and
yeah.
mixing it with compounds and bringing it back to UCLA, giving it to Sidney Gottlieb, Timothy Leary. I mean, come on,
Mhm.
guys. Like I said, you had Winona Ryder. Her godfather is Timothy Leary. Okay, you know what Timothy Leary title was? The United States government declared Timothy Leary the most dangerous man in America,
Mhm.
but he was CIA.
Mhm.
Unbelievable. But on top of that, Sidney Gottlieb was at UCLA along with Timothy Leary, working in anthropology and psychiatric department in UCLA.
Yeah.
And a lot of these,
All these cats was in big in these big colleges and big
yeah,
universities because the universities is where a lot of these ops come from. They
exactly.
call them studies.
Yep.
Therefore, they don't get legal scrutiny. See, there's a
And the
lot of people
guy,
that don't understand about universities.
yeah,
Universities are forms of government. See,
yeah.
people don't understand how this shit is
The dude,
structured.
the dude got kicked out of Harvard, right? A lot of these guys got kicked out of Harvard, or maybe even moved over to different universities. But according to the stories, he was kicked out of Harvard for giving kids, like handing out like candy, giving kids LSD and mushrooms, and the kids started tripping in class, just wilding out to the point where the Harvard University fired him, kicked him out. And guess where he went? He went to UCLA and did the same damn thing. But the only
Yeah.
difference is at UCLA, they were cool with it because that's when the CIA tapped in, was like, look, we can use this to help fight off the Russians. We can start getting into psychedelics and consciousness and all this other stuff. But it was to push the agenda for destabilization.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man.
It is wild, man. It really is wild when you get into when you start finding the names and what they were attached to it. It's like, damn. And then if you look around at the whole faction of what's going on right now, the so-called truth community, this is all what everybody's into:
Yeah. Yeah.
consciousness, spirituality, love and light, awakening, shrooms,
Yeah.
weed, this DMT trips,
Yeah. Uh-oh. Still there? Check, check. Check, check.
hold on. I had got a phone call. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah, DMT trips. What's that other one they talk about? It's another one, but
I
a
don't
new
know.
one.
Acid. I don't know.
It's a new one. They all claim. I forgot what it's called. They're like, oh, you should take this. It'll take it to your higher self.
Man.
And a lot of people don't know there's actually a push to have mushroom dispensaries.
Ayahuasca. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Ayahuasca.
ayahuasca. There you go.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
That came up in some of my research too. And then, like I showed yesterday, what's even more crazy is that you think that you're doing something, because first of all, it's not natural, right? I mean,
Right, right,
like I said, this is not in your backyard. That you're
right.
this is being
and
removed
and,
from
and, and
indigenous populations.
before you go on, see what people don't realize. All you gotta do is go and look at your grocery store. You got an apple, and then you got an apple and another apple and another apple, and you got an orange and another orange and another orange. Just because that shit is growing doesn't mean it's natural. They done
Mhm.
change it up. They done put their own chemical compound and DNA and structures into it, and therefore it's not the same thing
We
anymore.
talk
Stop
about
trying to.
GMOs. We talk about
Yeah,
GMOs all the time, right? So if
right. You
GMOs
can't.
is it, yeah,
Right. How you gonna have a GMO on your food, but your drugs are okay? It's
yeah,
like
exactly.
because I'm talking about the grow my own people.
Yep,
The grow my own people. Do you
yep,
know where what you getting even comes from?
exactly.
And they don't want to do the research because they'll quickly find out things are missing. It's not the same, and this is why you got it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
Arab had told me it's almost you can't find it here in America. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? You cannot find that shit here in America. I mean, some people might be growing, but you got to go elsewhere to get it and smuggle that shit in here. That's the war on drugs. It's a certain
yeah,
drug they want here and certain drugs they don't want here. You know?
yeah, Yep,
So
and then the video that I showed and things we were talking about yesterday was they're moving this stuff into nanotechnology.
yeah, and
Isn't
I
that
can't.
crazy?
And
Like
during your
psychedelics
stream,
and nanotechnology. So if you a
yeah,
psychedelic who's a junkie and
but check,
can't kick the trip,
yeah, and I was when you said that, I'm like, damn it, that's so crazy because I came across that because Ron L. Hubbard, he stole this from some scientist in the college that he was at, right? When he was doing research, and he
mm,
claimed it. What he found out is because he was in, I guess, one of the units class and of the experiments, that LSD, you could be exposed to LSD and these psychedelics, and then what they do is they go into the cells and the fat cells of your body and lay dormant and can be activated from
oh
something.
boy,
So it always can sit inside the human body and then
man,
it can be activated. And I started getting into exactly what you're talking about, the
wow,
nanotechnology.
nano. Hmm.
And then you wonder why everybody run around here tripping.
Dude, that's what I said. I even showed an article where and this is where it really just blew me away because when I talked about Timothy Leary and how they infiltrate, I mean, the revolutionary Marxism, all that stuff with the hippie times and all that. What really
Mhm.
blew my mind was the CIA with Timothy Leary and Anthony and Sidney Gottlieb. They were in this other guy named Dr. Jolly West, which is this other doctor at UCLA that was part of the MK Ultra. There's videos all on YouTube. They show like a lady on LSD, and all of a sudden, when she took the LSD, she started sounding like she was some type of Buddha, and it was just weird.
Yeah.
But they talked about putting LSD in the air for the
Yeah, I
entire
saw,
United
man.
States populate. Like they was
It,
gonna
it it
drug
made
up
it
to.
made that made me start thinking like, damn, did, did,
What if
did
they
we
did
get
it
a
already?
did we get a dose of LSD? And a
Don't
lot of
even
these
know
people
it.
that are, oh, I went to my spiritual awakening, start freaking out and tripping and seeing shit. But
And they hit you
they
with that
just,
Project Bluebeam.
yeah, yo, man, it really gets wild, man. It gets
Woo.
wild as hell, man. Like
Wh-
the research is almost, it'll blow your mind, man. It will
Man, when I
blow your
seen that,
mind.
it frightened, not to use the word fright, but it frightened me because I was like, okay, back in the 60s, a lot of us, I know me, I wasn't even born, right? I was maybe a baby or something or whatever, but
Mhm.
no, I'm an 80s baby, so I wasn't even born yet. My parents was. So I'm thinking like, man, like my parents probably, if they shot
Pass
this stuff in the atmosphere, we
Pass this
all live it.
gene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all
That's the
hallucinated
first
and
thing I thought. I'm like, damn, I know my mom did it because she told me. And I'm thinking like, shit, she probably
that was the
passed this shit.
counterculture at that time. That's what they pushed.
Yeah.
And the guy Anthony Timothy Leary, there was a black and white from the Merv show he was on in the 60s, and he predicted. He said, "Look, guys, I'm telling the crowd in the audience, in the next 20 years, when your kids go to school and they get home, you can be asking them what they learned and a book that they read. That's gone.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to do is have your kid come home and you ask your kid what LSD.
Smithsonian Library or something.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
he's saying, I'm gonna open up there. I'm gonna use these mushrooms to have your kids coming home, and they're gonna be talking like Buddhas,
Mhm.
and we're gonna
Mhm.
be asking the kids what what mushroom or what LSD drug that you have today versus what book you read. And the
Right.
crowd, you heard the crowd grasp when he said that because he thought it was like a cool thing because everybody getting high and having fun. But the
Mhm.
crowd was kind of like scared, like, yo, you talk about giving drugs to kids in
Mhm.
elementary schools? And
Right.
and when you think about what they were trying to put in the air, it makes you wonder, man, if we all are under a spell. I hate to say it, but are we all really under a spell right now? And
Right.
in reality, there's a part of me that's like, you know what? I used to read a lot of books on secret societies, like for example, at Manly P. Hall we talked about, but I'm reanalyzing the stuff that Manly P. Hall was writing in the book because if Manly P. Hall was part of the agenda, then he was giving us a perspective to lead us down that path to destroy us. So,
Exactly. And that's the one thing the guy said. He was like, they tell you because they want you to go down the path, and then you'll destroy yourself or you'll either partake in it because that's why he didn't say they're not telling you the truth. They're telling you so you can explore all possibilities of that, which you embodying that energy and that
yeah.
sorcery that they're putting out. And this is
I'm gonna
why
say
Manly
this.
P. Hall put
I'm gonna get
put
out of
this out
here.
in others.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna say this last thing, and I hope and hopefully this helps explain it for me and you, yeah, right. And we'll talk, outside of this. But so here's what I think happened, and using this as example. we jumped on this journey of knowledge and truth and or whatever, and we learned a lot of stuff, different, gematria. We learned secret societies, the New World Order, the Unam Sanctum, the Vatican, the Jesuits, all this stuff we've been learning, right? All of a sudden, we come across this information about, psychedelic drugs and how it was used to infiltrate different movements, the truth community. Look where it led us to. It led us back to Aleister Crowley and H.P. Blavatsky.
Yeah.
So going back to your statement, the path that they put us on, it was meant to bunny hop you to different authors, different philosophers, different theories, all along to bring you back to the Luciferian satanic agenda.
Exactly.
So that's how we, which is good people, I will assume, we have to
Mhm.
say, okay, cool. We see that path, we see that trick, jump off that, and now we have to find and align ourselves back, or so many words, get ourselves back connected with God and back connected on that true source. Because, like I
Mhm.
said, they're riding next to us. So they're going to say the same words. They're going to have the same books. They're going to be quoting the same theologies. But
Yeah,
until
it's
you,
wild, man, because
yeah,
when you look at all this stuff back then, it's the same exact rhetoric and
yep.
then some is happening now. When you break it all down, it's really mind blowing,
Dude,
man.
it's a video I was gonna upload maybe later today of this lady. She was on a trip. I mean, this lady was just a party animal. They gave us some LSD and the stuff she was saying, dude, she sounded like Gemini's or something, like
Yeah,
deep. And I was like, yo, she was dropping consciousness and vibration. And
yeah.
can't you see the atoms? And the atoms are all part of one and the oneness of God. And then I was like, but guess what? She was taught by Allen Ginsberg, and those people was taught by Aleister Crowley.
Hmm.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
Crazy.
That's where it's crazy because you can actually find where all this stuff stems from and links to. A lot of them, a lot of them went and stole the ancient teaching of Buddhism
Yeah.
and Taoism and
Yep.
also Hinduism.
Yep.
They took that and alchemized that into their own,
Into their
into
own
their
little,
own shit.
like they
And
they gave
because
them. Mhm.
right, because they know that that energy and that way of life is very powerful,
Yeah.
so they can manipulate and control people with it, and that's
And
what
what
they found.
and what people don't
So
need to understand too with the Mexico, they went to Mexico along with people like Carlo Castaneda, and they grabbed these mushrooms that they found, these magic, call them magic mushrooms back in the 60s and the 70s. What happened
mhm,
was when the CIA, first of all, the CIA bought up that land where
mhm,
these mushrooms, now you can still find them, in other areas of Mexico, but once the CIA had that area, kind of like what they did opium,
right.
they just went into Afghanistan and took over those opium fields, and that was it. Like if you came up in there trying to grab some opiums because you're some hippie,
Oh yeah, you was
dude, you're
dead.
gonna get you're gonna get shot. You're just gonna be meeting military
Mhm.
forces all through
That's
there.
why they got the cartels in Mexico. It's
There you
not
go. There you
nobody's
go.
going in there. Like you ain't
Ooh,
that's like going into Syria trying to take over a country. You go mess with
yep,
that stuff down there.
man, man.
You know, it's
So look,
wild, man.
Hey, I appreciate. I just want to jump on, man. I'm gonna get out of here. I got some things to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
today,
yep.
dude. Good Godspeed to you, man. Because the shit wild, and I think we really need to start getting into like I said, if you had 52 years, I'm using that 52 from yesterday, yeah, right. If you had
Mhm.
52 years before the elite families was going to kidnap you, sacrifice you, and throw your head and your body down the temple of Malor or Mayor, what would each and every one of us do? I'll tell you what we would do. We will prepare. We
Right.
will prepare. You wouldn't
Exactly.
sit on here and say that it's a joke. You wouldn't laugh. You wouldn't sit here and think that it's fear porn. You would say, "Holy shit, time is almost up before we're going to get sacrificed." I don't know how or what, but it's going to happen.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be it's something
So
going down. You
something's
can
going
feel
down.
it.
Yep.
You can feel
Godspeed
it.
to you, brother. But I'll
You
talk to you
too,
next
man.
time. Okay.
Much love to you. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, peace. And I need to stop saying some certain words too, because just to change it up. But anyway, shout out to my brother Wise and everybody else who's on here. And like I said, man, this stuff is deep, man, and it's all there. It's all there. We've been raw. Hey, I could admit it. I've been steered a lot of wrong ways. I don't come up on here and get angry and lash out and go, insane and crazy. Yeah, hey, it's admitting you're wrong is one of the number one things you can do. The hell, these fiend crack, know that curse. Mhm. Admitting you're wrong is one of the most righteous things you could ever do. Yeah, I'm wrong, and just try to come up out it and move forward. When you're wrong, you don't gotta hurt everybody else because you're wrong. Like shit, you're wrong. Fuck it. So this is time to be, reflect on yourself. Let me know if I'm live, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and let me know if I'm live. Give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and put that back up on here because that's what's going on is some MK Ultra. It just is what it is, guys. I don't make this stuff up. You can find it all out. And if anybody says this is BS, it's because they don't want you to know about it. They're scared to admit they're wrong. They're no different from a religious person that's locked in Christianity. When you try to tell them stuff, they don't want to hear it. It's no different than a person, locked in any kind of belief system, a flat earth. If somebody's a flat earther, you couldn't tell them the earth was round. Somebody's around believes that the whatever they were told, you can't convince them it was flat. It's this, hey, it's information that's out there that you can find on your own. All right, thanks, Mr. McMittens and ESP. So, yeah, man, it's some rabbit holes, man. And when you get into this, all you got to do is take factions of what you think the truth is, and you can see where it's coming from. And like, damn, these motherfuckers was ops. These people was connected to here. They was all connected with each other. You know, it's truly wild, man. It definitely is. And um, you know, just that's why y'all all know I would always come thrash the love and light community. I'm not with that. All that comes to all the love and light and consciousness and everything's peaches and cream and I'm so connected and I am God and this and that and I don't care what you're saying, high vibes only, and everything is beautiful. Yeah, that shit I'm talking about. And pushing the same thing, the use of psychedelics to get to that. You don't need that. You don't need any of that. It's like you said, man. Start looking at this research, man. This shit is already locked in us, and you wonder why people all of a sudden get loopy and trip because that shit gets activated. Let me read it real quick. Let me read it. Hold on. It's wild, man. All these people are connected. Um, and it's some stuff on here that a lot of people ain't never heard of. Um, one of them being, hold on, like Kerry Thornley, right? He was a co-founder of Discordian. It's Discordianism, right? It's funny, you got people on Discord, which is a CIA app, right? Discord, right? This stuff is wild, guys. This stuff is wild. You got Discord. But anyway, Discordianism as a system of beliefs based around Eris, the Greek goddess of strife and discord, variously defined as a religion, philosophy, paradigm, or prodigy religion. It was founded after the 1963 publication of its old holy book, The Principia Discordia, written by Greg Hill with Carrie Wendell Thornley. The two working together under the pseudonym of um, Malachips the Younger and Omar Khayyam Ravenhurst. This stuff is wild, man. You know, But yeah, man. Yeah, people using these. And the thing about it is, a lot of people are doing stuff and they don't even know that they're actually doing it. You know, they believe it's the ultimate truth, but the reality is, what is the goal? We know what the goal is. Let's get to the baseline: the destruction of the United States and its culture and its values. They need to destabilize it, destroy it, and bring in, you know, the Marxist, socialist, ideology, communist ideology. So they need you to destroy it. So people thinking they're actually fighting against it is actually destroying it. They're actually helping it come down. So is there any truth community? I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, it is what it is. This is what they want. And if anything fits that agenda, you're allowed to be on the internet. You're allowed to talk about A, B, C, and D because you're a part of what they want. That's why you're going to agree, and then you don't care about, censorship because you're already accepting it. I mean, like, this is a crazy ass MK Ultra. You're already accepting it. So they already know they could launch things and you accept it. They did Mr. 19. You accepted it. You accepted it. Yeah, there were a few people angry, but you still accepted it. So again, you just dancing to the beat of the new world order. Point blank, period. Dancing in the beat to the new world order. And I know I'm sorry for other people that, smoke and do all that stuff, but you gotta know what you're doing. Just like people that smoke cigarettes every day. I don't even talk about that, but you should be you should know what that's doing to you. I mean literally. That does so many things. And the smoke itself though, it's bad. Then you get into the weed, the dispensary, why it's legalized. You understand the war on drugs, the timeline, what they actually did. Get to the baseline. People talk without getting to the baseline. You got to know the foundation, and you can talk about it all you want and that's what I do. I love for somebody to come debate me and some stuff because I'll stay on the surface and I go right to the point. Oh man, damn! I've always heard this. My apologies. You were right. I don't want to be right. I want you to just go look at it. I don't want to be right. That's the last thing I ever want to be is right. I just want you to learn it so you could tell me, damn, yo, that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's what I want to hear. I'm not a person that likes to hear you're right or you were right. No, don't tell me that. Just come tell me, and I'm like, no, you learned. I ain't right. You was right all along. All you had to do was go look. How the fuck am I right if you go look and you find out it's right? No, you're right. You see how that works? They got our minds all discombobulated, you know? So, with the whole weed, like, look, hey, man, y'all got to do the research. I can't. I done broke it all down. Even know what THC, new age, new age terminology is. Like, what's wrong with people? The information is all out there for you to research, you know? And then you get into the whole LSD, the mushrooms. You like, yo, they specifically say what they've done, how they synthesize that shit, how it can, from spraying into the air to bringing it into nanotechnology, all this stuff, man. It's the sad. This shit is in food. The other terminologies for this stuff. It's crazy. It is crazy. Hold on. Check this out. Have anyone ever heard of Lysergide? Lysergide? Lyser guide? Shit. I don't even know I don't even know how you say that. National Center for Biotechnology Information 2024. Compound summary for Lysergide. Re- re- Retrieved February 16th, 2024 from. Look at this stuff. This shit is to the day, February 16th, you know? And this word is acute, toxic, health hazard, right? Description: prismatic crystals prismatic crystals from benzene, tasteless and odorless, a hallucinogenic. Lysergic acid diethylamide is an erogaline alkaloid arising from formal condensation of lysergic acid with I can't pronounce these words, but I'm just reading you what's out there. I spelled it for you. It has a role as a hallucinogen. Uh, serotonin, serotonergic. Oh, I shouldn't even try to read this because whatever. Agonist and a dopamine agonist. It is an aroline alkaloid and organic hetero. I mean, they make these so we can't, come across this shit. But you ain't got to. I could take this right now, and I could read this, and I'll understand everything because I'm just gonna go look the words up. If it don't matter that you can't pronounce the words, as long as you understand what they say. Just like it's a symbol. You look at a symbol, you know what it means. You look at a word, oh, I know what it means, but I can't pronounce the motherfucker shit. You know, you may see a symbol. Oh, I know what that symbol is, but I can't put it into words, really. The same shit. So you ain't got to know the words, you know? But what this is LSD in another word, right? It's LSD in another word, guys. That's what lysergide, Lysergide. That's another form of LSD, right? And it also has synonyms is a lysergic acid diethylamide. I wonder if I could use the pronunciation so it can pronounce it for you. Hold on, let me see if I could do that. Translate, no, it won't do it. And then another name for it is NN diethylglyceramide, all this other stuff. And it's like there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Even called royal blue, heavenly blue, pearly gates. Like this is a chemical. It's called pearly gates, royal blue. There's all these different names just for LSD. And I can guarantee you some of these are in some products we use every day. I can guarantee that shit. Point blank period. You know? So, hey man, it just is what it is, man. You know. And this is why people need to just, hey man, just know the baseline. People want to do it. Hey, it's just like, there's foods that are bad. We know they're bad. Fuck it, we eat them anyway. Hey, I do too. There's some foods that I eat I shouldn't eat. You know, might have this in it and that in it, but I mean, it is what it is. I get it. But just know what you do, and know that's some. Hey man, look at. We got to start looking at things, man. You know, and if you look around, look at the country. Well, look at the United States corporation. Look at the people as a whole. It's going to shit because we're not in our proper being. Point blank, period. Some of us are, but as a whole, we're not. So they're winning, and we're actually helping destroy what they want to destroy. And a lot of us have been caught in thinking we're fighting against, but how the hell they're trying to destroy it, but we're trying to destroy it too. It doesn't even make sense when you sit back and look at it. You know, it don't even make sense when you sit there and look at it. You know, so yeah, man, it's wild. But I don't know. I'll use up a couple more minutes. ESP, what's good? King Charles, what's good? Uh, Mafticon, Space Troll. Who else is up on it? Daniel, Sheriff of YouTube. Whoever else is up on here. Whoever watches later. Just start looking into stuff, man. You know, that could be your opinion, but I have to differ. I don't know what y'all talking about. You learned quite a bit about to be myself, be honest. Intention. Yeah, I mean, look, we all know we don't even have to even talk about what people have done when they've done, these trips, but hey man, when you gotta understand, when shit's backed by, the CIA, hey, you might have went there, but when you came out, and then studies are done, scientists have already discovered that shit stays in your body and it can be activated at any time, by something else that you consume, your environment. Maybe let me pull it up. And then Ron L. Hubbard actually claimed that fame, tried to claim that fame. Um, hold on. Okay. All right, where's it at? Okay. The psychedelic decade, including rampant cocaine and heroin consumption, and all attendant violence therefrom, the social devastation proved very much a cataclysm, nor was the problem in any way limited to street drug consumption on a social fringe. On the contrary, with psychiatric and pharmaceutical establishment intentionally pumping drugs into the mainstream social arteries, the ramifications are altogether cultural. Moreover, with continued research through the late 1970s, yet another insidious problem came to light. Even years after quitting drugs and repairing all immediate damage, the former user remained at risk, and gravely so. Central to the l- problem lay what Mr. Hubbard identified as tiny residue of previously ingested drugs lodged in fatty tissues, liable to activate at any time. It is these residues that account for what is commonly termed the flashback and prove especially disturbing to those who experimented with LSD. Indeed, even years after ingestion, former drug users have found themselves on horrifying, unpredictable trips. Moreover, as Mr. Hubbard next discovered, street drugs were not only detrimental substances to lodge in the fatty tissue. In fact, virtually every kind of drug, chemical poison, preservative, pesticide, and industrial waste that we regularly ingest can be likewise embedded in the body and do us harm. And we know that. All right. We know that. The discovery and L. Ron Hubbard was unquestionably the first to recognize it. He held profound ramifications to consider. For example, a subsequent Environmental Protection Agency report admitting the average American consumes more than 700 potentially dangerous substances in the body. Think about that. What all this spills in terms of ill health and shortened life, the agency cannot say. But one fact is patently clear from both Mr. Hubbard's original research and secondary medical studies: those toxic substances do much to diminish our ability to act, think, and perceive. The damage is done in this way. Given the body is essential a communication system with the brain acting as a switchboard for the translation of thought into action, biochemical substances can be devastating, actually disrupting the normal pattern of thought. Needless to say, these toxic substances also do much to inhibit our learning rate, our memory, and all else necessary for our physical and spiritual well-being. In the answer to what he rightfully describes as a biochemical crisis, Mr. Hubbard developed a complete program to counter it. Now, this is where, later on in line, scientists came forward. He was just around scientists that were doing this, and he took it, stole it, and claimed it as his, made a book, to make money. This is all. But this dude was a snake for real, but he was very intelligent, super intelligent, and he just used it to better himself and shit. But anyways, he created a book called Body, Clear Mind. He utilized exact rhythm exercise, sauna, supplements, purification programs, and it said, the shit worked, but it's just basically bringing a person back to its natural state and eating more natural. When you actually go look at the book and see what it was, it's all it was, which he got from going, the India and the Buddhism and stuff like that, and Hinduism, same shit, you know. So just think, when they put this stuff out and you ingest it, just know where it came from. That's it. You got to just know where it came from, and then ask yourself, well, shit, why would they want me to do this if that's the very thing they're trying to control? You know, think about it. You know, think about that tease to go there. You know, I'm just saying. Don't. Just got to do the research. It is what it is, man. But all I know is there's no truth community. Nobody. What is humanity is getting worse. You know, just is what it is. No, this is straight LSD. I mean, y'all do the research. It's all these different drugs. This is just straight LSD, which has all these other different names, which gets into actually a type of mushroom that they created. This all this stuff. You guys got to go do your own research. This is just what this is a quick article to what it says, but it breaks down each and every single one of those drugs. And then you can look at. We can go right to the present day. All right, hold on. Watch this shit. Nanotechnology. Oh man. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, let me try to find this shit. Yeah, it's definitely it's created in the lab. There you go. And they learned how to grow mushrooms with that stuff. So imagine what they've done. Just imagine it. It's wild, man. And because this they know what people are looking for and yearning for, understanding consciousness. So hold on. Hold on. And they do have a LSD weed strain. I don't smoke weed, but y'all can look that up. Y'all know. It's just is what it is. So what happened is, hold on. Because of that, um, LSD, PCP, psilocybin, and Sylvia, right? They are pushing to have dispensaries. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, guys. And they are actually allowing them, but they're trying to push legislation. I know in Vancouver, there's a big thing on Vancouver mushroom dispensaries. Los Angeles. What does this say right here? LA dispensaries openly sell magic mushroom as states weigh in. So And then you got a bunch of fucking the same motherfuckers I talk about every day, the liberal, weirdos, right? Who are like, yeah, we want it. And then what to know about Colorado's new psychedelics law? All of a sudden now, when you go back, see, this is why people got to realize you got to look to now what they're doing. And then now you go look back and like, damn, they're doing this shit again. They need a cultural, spiritual revolution to usher in more socialism, Marxism, and communism. That's what they need because those people are going to be not, whatever's in it, it makes them not motivated to do any fucking thing. That whatever energy that is, then it's gone, you know? So it is what it is, man. But just do your research on your own. You'll find you. I didn't really want it to be about that, but it'll not this video, but it'll get there. But guys, this is why I say, man, notice how there's no truth community. Why is that? What does most people want in the truth community? To get together and do something. That don't happen, right? Why? I look outside, I see Trump supporters together, all these other people that are fighting for whatever the fuck they've been manipulated to fight, they're out there. Why do they take a specific mind and put it into a truthing community? What they call a truth community, which is all this crap we come across and see, you know? Think about that stuff, man. It's never ever gonna happen. Never. Ever. And like I said, Ben's saying before before Wise even, started making this stuff is we got to get back to the basics. Suddenly we got to start looking at our fellow brothers and sisters who are actually out there doing something. We got to start looking at that. You know, I mean, this is one big ass MK Ultra mind manipulation fucking program, and I've been caught in it. I admit it. I'm talking for me. I've been caught in it. I see it for what it is now. You know, there's nothing new that you see on this fucking internet that they ain't been doing, that they ain't talk about in the past. You know, remember, everybody goes to research what's already been put out there and talks about it themselves, you know, as if it's some new shit. It ain't new. They've been doing this stuff. Everything we talk about, you go watch some of these people like, wow, sounds like us. Man, that's some real shit. Like this guy I got on the cover, you know, Terry Thorne, Kerry Thornley. Go look at some of the shit that he said. Sounds just like us, you know? Sounds just like us. Go research Ron L. Hubbard. Sounds just like us. Go research, Timothy Leary, all these different people. Manly P. Hall, all these different people. They sound like us. I mean, there's so many of them, you know? So many of them, you know? So many of them. It's crazy. You got, it's wild, man, you know? And I mean, they're all tied back to CIA, which ties back to MI6, right? And this is one thing that I'm going to read. This is from Arthur Talbot, right? The British nobility, right? Look up the British nobility. I'm actually doing a video on that because some people think that there's a group that starts with a J that's controlling anything, you know. But when you really look into it, okay, well, when that we don't know who, but you can actually see who's actually in control of it all. Everything you see. And it's not the Jesuits, guys. I'm sorry to break it to you. They're not controlling everything. They're not manipulating everything. They're not controlling everything. No, that's not the most powerful, entity in the world. It's not. And it's easy to find, and it's easy to find that out, and it just is. The British nobility has been working on a grand plan to make themselves the ruthless ruler of the entire world. The rest of humanity does not agree to their idea that the British nobility should rule the world. They do not want to be obedient subjects, servants, and slaves who live under the boot and say so of the a British uh, aristocracy. Most men want to live free and want to live under free will, and will say, and and their own say so. Thus, the British slave masters conducted mental and spiritual research. Their real interest in studying the human mind and spirit was to learn how to control men, so they could modify his behavior into what they want men to be, willing subjects under the rule by the British nobility. The Cecil family is one of the top British slave master families. Their family has been the head of the British intelligence for over 400 years. Robert Cecil, the leader of an influential family called the Cecil Bloc, he was the head of the British intelligence and he was a British prime minister. One of his sisters and son named Arthur Balfour, you know about the Balfour family, he was the Cecil family and he also was the head of the British intelligence and the prime minister of Britain. All right. Now, Stephen Pearl Andrews was a leader, right, of the religious movement called spiritualism, right? This is where a lot of this shit that you're seeing today in the true community, it's all coming from here, right? And Scientology is therefore the universalology developed in the spirit of the exact scientist and its wholly new in kind. Its core or center is the most distinctive department of universalology, right? Scientology will reassess and vindicate spiritualistic realities and tendencies. I mean, this stuff gets into the movies, Hollywood. You know, this shit is this shit is so crazy. It really does, man. It really does. Sigmund Freud, it goes into Sigmund Freud. Um, I mean, it's wild, man. Where can I start? Oh, okay. It said it will be supreme triumph of Scientology, the exact branch of the new universal science. Remember, Universal Pictures. Well, Universal Pictures comes from universal science, which comes from universalology, which Scientology. I mean, this stuff is crazy. Remember all that Scientology stuff, years ago? They were exposing it, so-called exposing it or whatever. That's because they needed people to get back. You know how many people went back and unearthed, oh, that's Scientology, and then they seen something that kind of resembled Scientology, but it actually is Scientology, the same exact shit. This is how they get renew. They renew the energy. They bring all that shit out, and then people like, oh, I don't, Scientology, oh, and then it opens their mind to look, and then they see this, oh, this must be the right way, and as they get involved in the same shit, that's what this is. That's what this exact thing is saying, man. You know, so um, it says it will be the supreme triumph of science, the exact branch of the new universal science to exhibit in diagram and by illustrative teaching, object teaching, illustrative object teaching, actually teaching the object, which is you, all the root thoughts of which the human mind is capable. All right. The same year that Andrew started the idea of Scientology, the Cecil family took up the idea. In 1871, Arthur Balfour and his in-laws formed a private group to study paranormal phenomena. Psychiatric Yusef Brewer was treating Bertha Peppahinam in the summer of 1880. He found that when she recalled a series of memories back to the traumatic memory, one of her many symptoms would disappear. Brewer drew two important conclusions from his work with Bertha: that her symptoms were the result of thoughts that were buried in her unconscious, and that when these thoughts were spoken and became conscious, the symptoms disappeared. Brewer called this cath- catharsis therapy. It would also called abrictive therapy and talking therapy. Catharsis or abrictive therapy, the process of bringing repressed ideas and feelings into consciousness. It is the uh, revealing of past traumatic incidents buried in the subconscious. Sigmund Freud began using this catharic treatment under Brouwer's guidance. Sigmund Freud in 1882, Arthur Beaufort created the Society for Philosophy for Psyche. Hold on, Society for Psycho Research. Psychial Research. I don't know what the hell. This is a weird ass word. Psychical. Psychial Research. Not psychic or psycho, whatever. Psychological. They conducted scientific research into mental and spiritual phenomenon. They developed the subject of Dianetics and Scientology. All the basic mental, spiritual, and religious ideas of Dianetic and Scientology were developed by the SPR before L. Ron Hubbard was even born. You know, that includes the therapy used. Sigmund Freud was a member of the Society for Psychical Research. The SPR also conducted extensive research into the catharsis therapy. The subject of Dianetics and Scientology were tied together in the beginning, and both subjects were unearthed, were un, were under. Oh, sorry, this shit is small. Let me zoom in. Underneath the Cecil family, which means underneath the British intelligence. When Ronald Hubbard was a teenager, he was recruited by British intelligence. Thereafter, he executed one intelligence assignment after another for his entire life. They groomed Hubbard as the front man for the subjects of Dianetics and Scientology. You can read about that Scientology roots in this chapter 7 of the first Scientologists and their masters. The common denominator that explains all of Hubbard's actions in life. Ron L. Hubbard told Scientologists to support the British world order. He advocated the worst sociopaths in the world. He advocates the worst sociopath in the world having direct control over life and of every individual person. Ron L. Hubbard was not mankind's greatest friends, an intelligence agent for the British slave masters. He was one of the mankind's greatest enemies, right? Formation of MI6 in 1909, British Home Office became MI5, and the British Foreign Office became MI6. MI5, Britain's counter espionage service. It operates inside Great Britain. MI6 conduct intelligence activities on foreign soil outside of Britain. Admiral Sir George Mansfield Smith coming head of the new foreign section of the British Secret Service. Yeah, this shit gets wild, man. The new foreign section is called the Secret Intelligence Service, SIS, and MI6. Commander Thompson's mentors to Ron L. Hubbard. Commander Joseph Thompson was a medical officer, neurosurgeon in the U.S. Navy. Johnson Thompson of the U.S. Navy, Consulo Andrew Seon of the U.S. Army served together as spies in Japan starting in 1909. They pretended they were studying coastal reptiles and amphibians, but they were actually charting possible invasion routes, countering all the Japanese fortifications and naval guns that were part of Japan's coastal defenses. Anyways, breaking all that down, on March 13th, 1911, Lafayette Ronald Hubbard was born. He is the son of the United States Naval Commander Henry Ross Hubbard and Leandra May Hubbard. A friend of Ron's father was a U.S. Navy Commander Joseph Snake Thompson. They had snake in parentheses. All the basic mental, spiritual, and religious ideas found in Dianetics and Scientology were already developed by the Society for Psycho Research before Ronald Hubbard was even born. That includes the therapy they used. Vincent Astor Intelligent Network Naval Reserves. This ties into, MI6. I mean, this shit, man, it is wild, man. And you could look all this stuff up, and that um uh Ron L. Hubbard was a part of, all this, and it links into the British intelligence. It goes into shit. Aster Crowley was an MI6 agent who had the cover of being in the occult. Robert Cecil was his patron, who had sent him to Cambridge University for training as a diplomat. So Robert Cecil himself, who recruited Aster Crowley for British intelligence. Aleister Crowley worked for William Weissman during World War I with getting America into the world. In the 1920s and 30s, Crowley spied on Germans with occult interests. I mean, it's wild, man. I'm not gonna read it all because this shit is like pages upon pages, has articles, documents. You know, they has their enrollment in the college. I mean, this shit is some crazy information. Um, so yeah, it's deep, man. That all these people are connected, and this is all the stuff that is leaching and leaking around the truth community. That's still to this day, same rhetoric, same types of stuff, same, so-called awakening and all this other stuff. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right, let me know if I'm back. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me still. Take this down. Y'all can still hear me? All right, I seen the thing moving. Yeah, so winding this down, and I got a video that I'm making, showing who's in control of this stuff, because it's got to be known. Remember, everything they do is on a piece of paper, contract, treaty, something. And the people that own you are still in place and own this nation and own this country and own all this stuff is still in control and operating today. So the truth community is not affecting them. They're actually helping them push their agenda forward. All right. It just is what it is. They're using us to destroy this place so they could take over other parts of the world. Point blank, period. You know? It is what it is. And what people say, well, what do we do now? We'll just educate on. This is their program. This truth community is their program. The news, and if the news is CIA and the CIA is on the internet and in the truth community, right? They say all these people, these big channels are all CIA and COINTELPRO. They do mainstream narratives. So the news, we know, they show bullshit on there so we can take it and figure it out and play with it. And they've even put numbers on the fucking screen that means something to them, but they got something in the truth community that means something totally different on why they use the numbers. So, hey, I'm just saying, hey, you gotta explore all possibilities. Yeah, you're a truther, right? You get truth and you gotta come to the baseline. Where does this shit come from? Where does it come from? Where does it start? Where'd you get it from? How'd you get it? How do you know that this person is tied to this? What are you doing? That's what you do. That's what you do. Point blank, period. Breaking things down to the simplest form. Breaking it down. Getting to the facts. What are the facts? Not an opinion, not a loud voice because they just believe in the shit. Where'd it come from? How'd it get here? Why is it tied to this? Why is it tied to that? That's what you got to do. So, it is what it is. So, yeah, so just do the research, you know, do the research. That's why there's no progression. There's no nothing. There's not going to ever be a gathering. Everyone's never coming together because this is what they wanted. We did exactly what they needed us to do. MK Ultra, you know, MK Ultra, MK Ultra. And we're just, in this communities, if we're in the truth community, we're just perpetuating same stuff they did back in the 60s, using the same exact words, you know? So it is what it is. So, oh man. So yeah. So shout out to all you guys. Um, Mad Kitty, you're one of them, aren't you? But yeah. So interesting. But like I said, this video is running parallel to the videos that Wise is putting out. It's the same shit. Just different, more people to add to it. More people. You know, because the object is what? Communist Marxist ideology. Communist Marxist ideologies. Let me see if I got it here. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Communism. Oh man. This is where we're going. There's so many different definitions. Let me just find an easy one. All right, communism. It says, let me see. Okay. I want to get to the grits. Okay. Marxist. Marxian economics and its proponents view capitalism as economically unstable and incapable of improving the living standards of the population due to its need to compensate for failing rates of profit by cutting employees' wages, social benefits, pursuing military aggression. The socialist system would succeed capitalism as humanity's mode of production through workers' revolution. According to Marxian crisis theory, socialism is not the inevitability but economic necessary. Hold on 1 second. Orthodox Marxism. Who would have thought anybody would have known about that one? Is the body of Marxist thought that emerged from the death of Marx and which became the official philosophy of socialist movements represented in the Second International. All right, Marxism aims to simplify, codify, and systematize Marxist method and theory by clarifying and perceiving ambiguous contradictions of classical Marxism. The philosophy of Orthodox Marxism includes the understanding that material development, advances in technology, and the productive forces is the primary agent of change in the structure of systems and their relations, feudalism, capitalism, or not, become contradictory and inefficient as the productive forces develop, which results in some form of social revolution arising in response to the mounting contradiction. This revolution and ultimately leads to the emergence of a new economic systems. The term orthodox Marxism refers to methods of historical materialism and dialecticalism, and not the normative aspects inherent to classical Marxism without implying dogmatic adherence to the results of Marx investigations. Jesus Christ. So much bullshit. All right. I want to get to a more simple one. But anyways, y'all guys already know. I don't gotta read it. You guys know it. I ain't gotta read it. You know, I ain't gotta read this shit. Um, So that's what the truth community is. It's what the very same thing you're fighting against. You believe that, you know, I mean, the very same thing you want to fight against, you're actually supporting it. So it is what it is. That's what's going on, and that's why my thumbnail is gone fishing. You know, so well, people believe there's a truth community. You know, it is what it is. They believe there's a truth community, and it's a bunch of little. All these people that I mentioned had little cults. You know, they didn't have the internet, so they actually had to get fucking cults. You know, they couldn't get together on the internet. They did it in person, which is even more wilder. Because the wild shit that they did, people come up missing, all kinds of wicked, crazy shit. Y'all lucky it's just an internet cult, because if the internet wasn't on, y'all motherfuckers would be all together somewhere, you know? So, it is what it is. But, yeah, I don't know about the aliens. I don't rock out with the aliens. Only concept, only way we even got a concept of an alien is because of them. Because people prior to people prior to you gotta just go back in time. People prior to hold on. Um what did they say? I mean 1950s? 1950s? That thought came into the human mind. I mean, gotta start going back and looking before then, you know. So that's the only way we even got a concept is because they put that concept in our mind. So it's crazy. Yeah. But that's about all I got, man. You know, there'll be more to come. I'm actually making a video on your owners, you know, your true owners, because your true owners go back a long time. You know, your real owners that still are here and own and control. You know, not some fictitious thing that you can't see and, you know, oh, it's them. You know, no. Mm-mm. The real owners, you know, that you can find yourself. I think it's just time to just, you know, some people got to admit they're wrong and you got to reawaken from the truth community. It is what it is, you know, because we have to be some very special creatures if they got to go through all this shit to control us. Think about that. I'm going to leave it at, think about they got to do all this stuff to control our minds. We are some powerful ass human beings that they got to do all of that, all of what they've done, you know, and go to great lengths, you know. We got to be powerful, man. I mean, mean, that's all I got to say is we got to be some powerful people. But yeah, do the research. Look at what you're dabbling into in this truth community. You know, a lot of stuff is what they, you know, the direction they want because they know the human mind. They didn't spend forever doing it. You know, whether, you know, we could have traces of certain psychedelics and drugs in us that when we see something on the internet, it resonates with us and we think it's, oh my God, I'm getting enlightened. Do that shit outside. All my shit come from outside when I was in nature. This summer I'm gonna try to get back into it more, you know, like I used to be. You know, I kind of like from being busy, a little busy, you know, but I gotta get back into nature. You know, that's where it's at. You know, where they try to keep you from, that's where it's at. You know, because the truth and on the internet, all that shit, the rat race, I mean, stay in the rat race, in the loop. You can do it if you want. I'm just giving you what's there. You know, I'm just giving you what's out there. These things are being pushed today. Same shit pushed in the 60s and 70s. Same drugs, newer drugs now. But we're living in a day and age where people would rather say, you're wrong, I'm right, instead of going looking the shit up. You know? No, we're both right. How about we both can be right if you just go look? Someone who don't look, how can they be right? Run from that person. If you're not, anybody tell me so, I'm gonna go look for them. Like, damn, okay, yeah, you're right. You know. But all right, guys, I gotta get up off here. Much love to you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Shout out to anybody who watches later. Like I said, just gotta do the research, man. It's all out there, and there's more to come. So, peace and love, y'all, and we'll talk to y'all later.